him to read it. And I say I taught him because at this point I didn't have any real skills. I think I just taught him to memorize the book, but he was so excited, and I felt the same level of joy he felt when he read that book. So at a very young age, I started to realize if I can help somebody achieve their goal, I also feel the same joy and happiness that they feel. So that carried me into teaching. This is Darvion. He was an 8th grade student my last year teaching at Keller. And at the beginning of the year, he did not make the basketball team. And I remember him coming into class. He was so nervous about the basketball tryouts. You could see it was all he was focused on. And once he didn't make the team, we lost about a month of learning. It was head down, frustration, didn't see a why in his life anymore. So we stuck by him, and I say we because I would talk about him with my teammates, and I would get new ideas. We stuck by him, and gradually over time, you saw his energy rise, his trust rise, and by mid-year, he was running into the room holding our Frankenstein packets, annotated, telling children like, oh, did you read chapter 17? We were supposed to read chapter 17 of Frankenstein last night, and his whole demeanor changed. He ended up giving the graduation speech at Keller that year, and at the very end of the year, he had to pick up his diploma in the parking lot due to COVID, and he came up to me and he knew I was transitioning over to Lincoln Prairie at that time, and he said, Miss Moore, be the best assistant principal District 54 has ever seen. And I kid you not, that was how much energy he had in his voice. And that's when I knew it. He had the same feeling I had at the kitchen table, right? He knew, oh, I achieved my goals in class, and I want other people to achieve their goals because I know what that feels like. He's now a very successful football player over at Notre Dame High School. I still keep in touch with his mom today. So it just shows you, right, one student can have such a big impact on you and on those around them. Then finally, these are the teachers and staff members at Lincoln Prairie. And the service has not stopped. In fact, I like to say that it's amplified. I now have the opportunity to work with adults who have goals of their own, but also listen to how they help their children and their students achieve their goals. And it's really in the little moments, the problem-solving moments, the ways that we connect, that I get opportunities and I hear new ideas on how I can reach them and also reach their students. Standing here today, it goes even further than Lincoln Prairie. I did share with Julie, like, this is definitely one of the largest presentations I've done in at least a couple years since being over at Keller. And so I am just so eager and excited to get to meet you guys. Going from classroom teaching to administration, I see some familiar faces, but I'm also so eager to learn more about you guys and your story. And please know that I'm open to connecting even past just this conversation today. So thank you very much for the time and the listening. I know you might be sitting here listening to Stephanie and I's story, and you might be feeling a little bit uncertain or unsure. I was actually reading an article just last night that talked about how our brains can actually trick us into seeing fear as a bad thing, right? Like, I had fear coming here today. I had fear sitting, waiting for my turn to speak, but it's not a bad thing. It's because I'm excited. It's because this is worthwhile. It's because it's engaging. So just check in with yourself. Is your fear for a positive reason, or is it something that you can lean into? I know there's a lot of talent here in the room, and my contact information is up there if you ever want to connect about anything or your own story. I hope our paths cross again. Thank you.
Woohoo! Way to go, Mandy Moore.
Okay, well, wow, right? So powerful to hear from others, and also so powerful to hear Mandy's story and how it's a lot different than Stephanie's story. And no matter what the path, as long as they're bringing you joy and happiness, that's the most important thing. So let's take again 4 to 5 minutes with the people around you, and now having a chance to think about Mandy's presentation and really diving into those tenets that she talked about. How do those resonate with you? Talk with the people around you. What were some of the key takeaways that might support you as you're thinking about the next steps in your own journey? So go ahead, take about 4 or 5 minutes and have that conversation.